All right, everybody. Today we're going to go through something that you've probably seen on your screen, but didn't realize what it did. And there's a really cool feature. I'm going to show you three different really cool things that this tool can do. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the what if scenario manager built into Excel. This tool, if you use it, is really neat. You've probably never seen it before. So let's hop over to the screen. All right, so we're in Excel. This is a normal Excel sheet. And what we're going to do is in here, you can see put together a dummy table. And what we have here is just selling a widget, what the cost is, what the expected cost increase, markup, initial sales, expected sales, and what does that look like over the next 5 years, right? And so this is obviously a made-up scenario, but you can use this in a bunch of different ways. Let me show you what we're talking about. So we're going to go up here to data. I'm going to look at this button over here that you've seen and probably didn't pay any attention to. And what we can do with this button is pretty cool. So what we want to do is what happens when we start to change different scenarios on this sheet. As you can see, it affects the rest of the sheet, right? So we're going to play with different scenarios to see what happens when we change whatever we change. But to do that is very tedious. Microsoft gave us an easy way to do this automatic. So we're going to pull up the scenario manager. We're going to click in add, right? And then it's going to ask us which cells do we want to change. We're going to highlight this one. I'm going to hold down the control key. I'm going to select the rest of these cells, right? So these are all the cells that we want to change and do variables on. We're just going to call this scenario 1, okay? You can obviously call it anything you want. Now, look what it does. It prompts us, what do you want these values to be, right? So it's going to pre-populate in the values that are already there. But if we put in new values and we do this, right? And we hit OK, now watch what happens. When we double click on this, or if we hit the show button down below, it's going to change those. Now watch, we can do this again. We'll do scenario 2. Scenario 2, it remembers which fields we already selected, so we don't have to select them again. But now we can change different things on here. All right, so now we have scenario 2. Now watch what happens when I click below between scenario 1 and scenario 2. It changes them around, right? Okay, now I'm going to show you two more cool things that we can do with this tool. First one we're going to do, is going to, let's say we want this to be $2 million, right? Actually, we'll go over here. We want this to be $2 million, right? And we want to affect the markup so that after 5 years, we have $2 million in revenue. Well, Microsoft made this really easy for us. We go to that same what if, and we go to goal seek, right? What cell are we going to set? We're going to set this cell, and we want it to be $2 million. And we're going to get there by changing this cell. Watch what happens. When we do that, it automatically changed this to 42% to give us $2 million. So it automatically did that math for us. We don't have to play with it. We don't do any algorithms, don't have to do any mathematics at all. It did that for us. We can do it again. Let's say we want to set the goal. We want to set this goal and we want it to be $1.5 million. Right? And we're going to do it by changing the markup again. Done. $1.5 million, right? So how cool is that, right? Automatically does it. Now, let me show you the third thing that we can do with this tool, which I think is just so cool, right? So in this page, as you can see, I've already created 5 different scenarios in here, different mixtures of different numbers and stuff like that. And so as you can see, I can change through, it'll give me the different values, right? And I can keep looking at them, but I don't want to have to keep clicking through to keep seeing what these values are. I just want to see what they look like, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go to summary. And I'm going to do summary, and I want to do, when all these values, I want to see what happens to this value right here, right? What happens? Watch this. Automatically click OK. It creates this table that shows us all the different iterations and what that value is after all those iterations. This is really cool if you're playing with like a mortgage amortization sheet and you want to see what happens with the 30-year fix versus a 15-year fix versus a 5-year APR. What's my interest going to be, or what's my monthly payments going to be? It's right here. Really cool. All right, so now I'm going to give you a little bonus content, right? I'm going to give two bonus content. See how some of these cells have names on them and two of them don't, right? So how did that happen, and how do we change that? Well, the ones that have names on them, as you can see, when I click on them, there's a name up here, and the ones that don't, there's no name. So what we can do is click up here and just type it in. Can't be any spaces in there. And then we'll do, on this one, we'll do 5-year revenue. And maybe in this one, oh, oh, so much. Okay. And then over here, we'll do, all right, so we're going to name those cells is what we're going to do. Now let's go back in. We'll do this one more time. Do the summary. On the summary, let's say we want to have, we're going to do in the summary, we're actually going to do 2 cells this time, right? Look at that. It gives us the year 3, year 5. All our cells are labeled, going through. So cool. All right, that's what I wanted to show you today. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We have new 10-minute videos coming out all the time. And I'd love to hear your feedback. Leave something in the comment. Thank you very much and have a great day.